This is Andy Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by Jack Catterall over Zoom. Jack, only a few days away from Christmas now. You in a festive mood?
Yeah, I am. It's got a big family. Little girls too in February, so it's a special time of the year. We're all excited now.
Hopefully, it's obviously a good one. And I know you've had a busy day because although we are getting ready for Christmas, you're in camp. Is it difficult, Jack, obviously being around friends, family, knowing the sacrifice you have to make this Christmas ahead of what could be the biggest year of your career so far?
You know what? No, I wouldn't say it is. I've got a great family and great network of people, and ultimately, I don't do it for myself. I do it for myself, but I do it for my family, my missus, my little girls. So, and they know that the sacrifices that need to be made in order to achieve what I set out to do.
Jack, how, when you reflect on this year, how frustrating, if at all, have you found it that since obviously fighting Josh earlier on, you haven't been able to not just get the rematch in, but maybe have, say, just a warm up bout, just about to got a tick over bout at least?
You know what? It's been frustrating, but I always try to be the on the positive things. Yeah, we didn't get the decision against Taylor, and we've not fought again this year. Uh, we're days away from an announcement now for the rematch early next year, so that's a positive. Before the last fight, there was some slight inactivity through no fault of my own, and again now it's going to be coming up a year before we fight again. So it was difficult because not getting the decision against Taylor, obviously you drop down in the rankings, and you're possibly 2, 3 fights back to a world title, but when there were talk of a rematch and the possibility of fighting again for a world title, uh, obviously that's what I set out to do. I want to be world champion, so I couldn't turn down that opportunity. And then it's all risk and reward. Do you bother fighting? Who do you bother fighting? Can you get up for that fight? Uh, so after it got proposed that there's a fight there to be made with Taylor, obviously that's where my mind was. So we've stuck it out. We've stayed in the gym, and hopefully now the next couple of days we get announced.
Throughout this year, Jack, since obviously the fight with Josh earlier on in it, did you ever explore the options of potential tick over bouts as the word? Did any names come up that you could have potentially stepped in with?
You know what? It wasn't too soon after, maybe in the following month or so. Uh, Obviously, I wanted to get out once or twice more this year, but it wasn't too long after. There was talks of it. I think uh, Taylor got carried away, and then he kind of realised the public pressure and the pressure in the boxing world to fight me again. So it was talked about, and then we did talk about fighting in fall this year, and then he's gone on off and got married, which is fair enough. And then there was some delays on his behalf. We did think we'd get the fight November, December. Uh, Certainly knew through no fault of mine or Boxer or Skies, I think on his behalf, it's been pushed back into the first quarter of 23. So again, that's the cards we've been dealt. I can only change my do what I do and change my variables. So that's what we've been dealt, and we're focusing now on fighting him early in the new year.
We moved towards that New Year's, you say. Now, originally, the first day which had been bandied about was around February 4th, and I imagine that the Eubank Jr-Smith fight being announced is what effectively prompted Sky and Boxer to go against that date and to push back your date.
Yeah, I believe so. Quite frustrating for me. Obviously, happy to see Liam Smith fight Chris Eubank, great fight. But yeah, I believe that has been an issue with the dates, having pay-per-view fights so close together. So that fight was ready to be made, and I was got pushed back. But again, I can't let that affect me too much. I've been disciplined. I've stayed in the gym. I'm preparing, and like I keep saying, I think we're days away from an announcement now.
When you say days away now, have you been told that for definite? I've been hearing around March time is the proposed date now.
Yeah, I'm confident that within the next week we'll have this announcement.
On that note, Jack, I'm sure you've seen I visited. Well, I didn't purposefully go, but I bumped into Josh in the Joe McNally gym at the Rotunda gym only a few days ago, a week ago now. Um, he had quite a few things to say. He's very much so a lot more fired up for this fight, this rematch, as opposed to what maybe he was heading into the first fight. Firstly, have you seen anything as to what he had to say heading into next year?
You know what? I seen a slight clip on Instagram. You know what? I've not really watched the full interview, so I can't say I've listened to what he said.
To put it more bluntly, he's adamant heading into this fight, Jack, that he's going to cause effectively damage. He will come in, he'll stop you, and he'll show people that he's the man who's the king of a division. The man who came out on top against Jose Ramirez is still there, and effectively, you're not the man who's just been built up to be his kryptonite, as it were.
Yeah, we'll see. It's exciting because if that's the way he wants to come across, he's going to run through me, and then he's gonna have to answer a lot of questions come March. I'm ready. I feel like I'm coming into my peak years now. I'm getting better every fight, so game on. I can't wait to smash his head in.
Jack, on that note, going back to when you did fight, it was probably only at the weigh-in when the pair of you got a little handsy, shall we say, when we saw it really kind of catch fire. You head into it now. Do you expect to see a different version of Josh? Do you expect to see him more fired up and obviously offering you a lot more and a greater deal of respect heading into the fight?
1 minute, Alpha. I'm just doing an interview. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never read into it. It didn't matter what he was going to come with last time. Talks about having this split personality, and now he's come out and said he was undermotivated, etc. It doesn't really bother me. He won't get under my skin. He knows he can't get under my skin. It doesn't really bother me. You seen at the weigh-in last time. You can say all you want, but you don't try and come down and physically impose yourself on me. There were no security guards stood on the stage at the weigh-in, so as he marched over, I kind of put hands on him to let him know like I'm not messing about. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Come motivated. Come all angry. Come do what you want to do. But I'm going to smash him in March.
How much more personal, Jack, is this rematch now?
You know what? It is personal. Obviously, there's dislike there and disagreements there. Taylor's the 1% that he believe he won the fight, and the rest of the world, and I know that I did enough to win that fight, more than enough to win that fight. So it's personal. I just can't wait to get it on now.
Jack, it seems to be the rematch will be heading back up to Scotland. Did you fight against that? Is it a concern of you to head back up north?
You know what? It weren't my first choice to go back up there, but I believe from Taylor's side, from Top Rank, there was no way he would come down to Manchester, which would have made perfect sense. I think we've tried for dates in London, but listen, we've not had the announcement yet, so we'll see if it is back up in Glasgow. Then to me, it's don't matter where the ring is, could be anywhere in the world. Once it's just me and him in the ring, and I think you'll see a lot of a different atmosphere this time. We've got a lot of support from the Scottish fans, and certainly a lot more support overall. So we'll be packing out that stadium wherever it is.
Jack, you dropped Josh in that fight going back to earlier this year. You've shown you can hurt him.
I'm going to finish him this time.
Sorry?
I'm going to finish him this time.
That was going to be my next question. Obviously, going back up there, is that on your mind going in there for a knockout, the way that he's going into this fight, very much so looking to knock you out?
You know what? I've probably not had as many knockouts as I should have in fights, but I know I do punch with power. My timing's great, and you know I'm not going to go out there hunting for the knockout, but I know I can hurt him, and this time I won't be stepping off the gas at all.
Jack, as you said earlier, a lot of people felt you did enough to have your hand raised on the night. What more do you feel you have to do? What more can you do to overcome Josh when the fight is on next year?
No, I have to go out there and do what I do. I have to improve on the last performance and look to adjust and be better. And we have to find some competent judges and officials, and hopefully we get the right decision.
Jack, Josh linking up with Joe McNally, obviously change of trainer there. What do you make of that?
You know what? I've got respect for Joe. He's done great things over the last couple of years. I've known of Joe for some years, and obviously now got Liam Smith in the gym, Josh, and a young stable of fighters. A lot of fighters are over there. So, but no, I don't read into that too much. Josh has been pro long enough now. He knows his way around the ring. If Joe can add stuff to his game, then fair play.
Yeah, when people talked about Josh heading into your fight, there was a lot of talk about how comfortable or uncomfortably he might make the weight. On that note, a year out since you two would have shared the ring going again, how much more of a detriment do you feel that will be to Josh?
I don't think there was a massive struggle to make the weight for him. That being, you only have to look at his social media that summer and into the fall before we boxed. He was out, rightly so, enjoying himself after becoming undisputed. So maybe he wasn't as disciplined then as he will be this time round. Again, only time will tell. But I'm confident he can do the weight. If he stayed in the gym and if he said he's extra motivated this time, we shouldn't see any excuses.
I will say, Jack, after when I went up to visit Josh, he seemed like he was in good nick as well. So certainly bodes well for the future. And when you look towards what could be beyond that, Jack, all of the titles obviously being fragmented now, all up for grabs. Obviously, we just saw Regis Prograis pick up one of those versions of a world title. Have you thought about where you'd like to go beyond the Taylor rematch?
You know what? I don't get carried away looking at future fights in the days away from my next fight being announced. So that'll be put to one side. Obviously, in the future, we're in a great division at 140. Lopez has just boxed. Prograis just picked up the WBC. I guess in the coming months, the other two belts will be getting fought for. So I'm excited. I mean, tunnel vision now on the next fight, but and I've said it before over the years, I want to test myself against the top boys in the division. I've done that with Taylor last time. We get to run it back. But then in the future, I want to fight you, Lopez. I want to fight you, Prograis. I want to fight you, Ramirez. There's some great fights to be made.
Just get your thoughts on Regis. What did you make of his victory against Zepeda? Did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched the fight. I didn't watch it all, skipped through a little bit of it, but solid performance. You know what? I think a fight with me and Prograis would gel well. He's a come forward fighter. I'd stand with him. That I think that'd be a great matchup. Obviously, he's doing his thing now. He's got has he got a mandatory
Well,
in
he
Ramirez and he steps aside as it.
the fight with Jose Ramirez was ordered, and now Ramirez is opting not to fight Regis because of a purse split being ordered at 65-35.
Yeah, so I believe next in line is Lopez. So maybe we'll see that fight. And when I beat Josh, maybe we'll get a unified fight.
What do you make of Prograis Lopez if that was to go ahead?
You know what? You have to go with Prograis after his last performance. Uh, Again, Lopez has had some brilliant fights over the year. Maybe that last fight was an off night, but uh, again, only time will tell. Hopefully, them two can get it on, and we can look to make that fight in the summer next year.
You mentioned exciting times as well. Somewhat of a catchweight just beneath you. You've got Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia scheduled to face off next year. What are your thoughts on that, Jack? I'm sure part of you might have a little eye on it because they will be looking at the 140 division themselves.
Of course, yeah, these next couple of years are going to be interesting. You've got a lot of great fighters at 135. These two are fighting at a catchweight. You'd expect in the next year, 18 months, you're going to get fighters coming up from lightweight, and we've got some big names down there. So obviously, it'd be nice to stick around and be involved in some great fights going forward. Garcia, very fast, punches hard, and Tank again, very explosive and powerful. I'm probably edging towards Tank to win that. He's got the skill set. I think it'll be a few rounds of Ryan, fast and speed. You just never know with them type of fights. But if I were to put a bet on, I'd probably go with Gervonta Davis.
Jack, I'm going to put it to you hypothetically now. Say you come for a Josh, you claim that world title, or you avenge that wrong result that many felt you'd done enough to win previously. If you could name one potential fight at 140, whether it be Regis unification, Teofimo, Tank, Garcia, Devin Haney potentially moving up, maybe even Shakur, who's obviously moved up to 135, if he was to consider it as well. If there's one name you'd love to test yourself against, who would it be?
I don't know if it'd be the right word to say test myself against, but obviously it'd be lovely to get the WBO and go. And obviously last time I got a shot at all four belts, which I'd waited long enough for, and I didn't get that decision. So it'd be nice to win the WBO. And if Lopez or Prograis, whichever one of them got the WBC, that would be a fight that would obviously interest me going down and picking up my own world titles.
And Jack, just a couple more to touch on. Obviously, this past weekend, I know you'd have been supporting from home, but you saw your campmate Rocky Fielding fall just short against Dan Azeez, stopped in that fight, Vital coming in. Just get your thoughts on what went wrong for Rocky.
Yeah, listen, I don't know what went wrong for Rocky that night. It didn't fall into place with him. I know he's moved back over here now from Dubai. I couldn't really tell you. You'd have to speak to Rocky. Just frustrating for me watching as a friend of Rocky and as a stable mate. Nothing clicked for him that night, and I think the corner, Jamie and Nigel, made the right decision. You heard it in the corner. They give him another round, but again, Dan Azeez were coming on strong. Fair play to Dan. That's that really. Rocky will have to have the Christmas with his family, New Year, and decide what he wants to do.
I know it's not your place to say, Jack, but after the fight, there's a lot of talk about where does Rocky go from here. Do you think we see him return to the ring?
Again, and they're not the question for me. I don't think you'd have to speak to Rocky to see if his heart's in it. I know what I would like for him to do. As a friend, I think he's achieved brilliantly in his career, going on to some super fights with Canelo, picking up the British titles and world titles. So he's had a great career. So no matter what he decides to do going forward, he'll have my support.
One final one there as well, Jack. Eubank Jr-Smith, we briefly touched on it earlier. Getting ready for that one in middle to late January. Just your take. Which way do you sway?
I swear towards Liam Smith. I think you've got to look at the past couple of performances. Liam's had the momentum. He's had some great fights, and I think he's needed that momentum where Eubank swapping and chopping trainers, and his performances have looked a little bit different. Maybe he's caught in between styles, trying to be Roy Jones, trying to be the Eubank that we're used to, the come forward, the relentlessness. But conflict to that, Eubank, don't think he's been hurt. Has he been down? I don't think he's been down. He's got a great chin, so it is a tough ask for Liam, but it's one I'm confident he can overcome.
All right, Jack, we'll leave it there now. I know you're a busy man. You've got other things to take care of this evening, so I appreciate you doing this interview. I look forward to the fight announcement, and thank you for speaking to me and ID Boxing.
Thank you, Andy. God bless.